Well, you've heard of snow angels, but what about ice angels? The people who put in thousands of hours installing and maintaining rinks across Saskatchewan. It can be a difficult job, especially with extreme temperature swings. Just getting out and clearing the snow after a big dump like yesterday is no small feat. But these ice makers are dedicated to making sure people can get out and get active all winter. I'm Nicole Huck, and today on Blue Sky we'll meet ice makers across the province, from La Ronge to George Gordon First Nation to Moose Jaw. We'll speak to a documentary filmmaker who has turned his camera on the culture of outdoor rinks, and we'll hear about Rink Watch, a project that draws attention to the difficulties to outdoor hockey driven by climate change. And always, we want to hear from you. Do you maintain a rink? Do you want to give a shout out to the Ice Angels in your community? You can call 1-800-716-2221 or email bluesky@cbc.ca. Randy Frickus has been documenting outdoor hockey culture in Canada for the Outdoor Hockey Club, and now the Winnipeg filmmaker has a new documentary called Ice Makers coming out in April of 2026.
In the depth of winter, when the days grow long and the weeks grind on, the ice becomes a sanctuary.
I've always liked winter mornings early. I'm out there and there's northern lights going. It's just really pleasant and peaceful, and it just feels really good.
Well, it sounds so lovely. Randy Frickus, documentary filmmaker, welcome to Blue Sky.
Thank you for having me.
Randy, why did you want to create this ode to outdoor rinks?
Just exactly what I heard in your previous conversation there. Like, it's all about memories. And for me, I've played hockey my entire life, and to me, I would take time just to kind of reminisce. And all my favorite hockey memories were mainly on outdoor rinks. So when I started just thinking about that, and for being a documentary filmmaker, you're always looking for stories or looking for people to talk to, and I just felt like there's something about that feeling, that nostalgia you get from playing hockey outdoors or skating outdoors, feeling like a kid. Like you could be any age, and it just brings a smile to your face, kind of thing. So that's kind of where it started from, and then it just grew from there. And like there's so many stories out there. There's so many different kinds of rinks. There's so many ice makers behind them. There's so many great stories that it's, pun intended, it's a snowball. So I just kind of followed it, and yeah, here I am today.
Well, I like that your documentary took you all over the place, including Moosomin, Saskatchewan. I want to play a little clip from Moosomin.
My name is Hadley, and that's my dad. We like skating together. It gives us the time to have fun together, and we teach each other something new every day, and it gives us the opportunity for freedom, because it means a lot to me and my dad skating, and we love skating together.
I love that, the freedom. What can you tell me about Hadley and the outdoor rink that you visited?
Well, first of all, if I had to pick my favorite Saskatchewan outdoor rink, it would be the one in Moosomin.
Why? What makes that rink so special?
Well, you just heard it from a 6-year-old girl at the time, Hadley McMullen. That was one of my very first shoots for Outdoor Hockey Club a couple winters ago. When I was, still seeking out what this whole idea was going to be, but basically by getting myself on the ground and talking to people, like, you just really, like, the story then just starts unfolding, for itself. So I spent the entire day filming in Moosomin. Mike, the rec director at the time, set up a few things around the rink, and Peter, who is the ice maker in Moosomin, I spent time with him. Amazing day on the rink. Everyone came out, and then I was ready to wrap up my camera gear, and I was like, you know what, I should maybe go back to the rink one more time and see if there's anyone else I can talk to. And I saw Hadley and her dad, Jesse, getting ready to skate around this little oval that they had there. And, like I said, she was 6 at the time. And I was like, I'm doing this thing called Outdoor Hockey Club. Do you want to do an interview? And Hadley basically just said what you just heard in that clip. And it's like, here's a 6-year-old girl who gets it, and she was having fun with her dad. They were spending time together outside in the prairie winters, which aren't great. So, if you do what you can to make the winters the best that they can be. And Hadley pretty much just nailed it there on day one of filming for Outdoor Hockey Club.
I love that. And I think we're going to have to get you back because we have a lot of great outdoor rinks here in Saskatchewan. And I'm sure that you'll hear some of them today. People want to make their pitch for why you should come and visit theirs. I'm going to go right now to one of those rinks, which is it's a pretty cool thing. So in Echo Valley Provincial Park, they're marking their official launch of Skate the Park this Boxing Day. Shelley McLean is the park manager at Echo Valley Provincial Park for Parks, Culture and Sport, and she joins me now to tell us more. Shelley, welcome to Blue Sky.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here today.
So tell me, so for people who haven't been to the Loop at Echo Valley, just what is it?
So Echo Valley's Loop, it's a really unique offering here in Saskatchewan. What we do is we flood your campground roads that you enjoy in the summer. We turn them into a skating surface in the winter, and it's approximately 1 kilometer in length. It kind of winds its way through some beautiful trees, and we also light it up the entire length. So we've got about 1.5 kilometers of lights along the entire lit path. And
That's magical.
Magical experience for sure.
Mm-hmm. How does this kind of weather, this is not ideal weather, I'm sure, when you're trying to put in the ice. How does this kind of weather that we've been getting the last couple of days, how does that affect the ice making?
Definitely the ice angels that you referred to earlier are so important this time of year. I know today we're digging ourselves out after the blizzard we had yesterday, and this afternoon they're going to be back on the Zamboni. So when we do get curveballs, the ice angels get to work, they get things off, and they're going to make the ice perfect for opening on the 26th.
How do you plan what day you're going to open? Because that feels like it could be tricky to pick a date when there's so many things up in the air weather-wise.
We really rely on the magic of ice angels. Last year, 2 years ago, we had a very mild winter, and our ice angels actually worked overnight when temperatures allowed them to create ice, and we were fortunate enough to make that December 26th opening date. So we work really hard. We do always let the public know there is a potential it'll slide, but things are looking fantastic for this year.
I was out there last year on that day, and it's very special because it's not just about the skating. You also have a whole other area set up just to make sure that people can come and actually spend the afternoon. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the other things on offer that kind of enhance that experience?
Yes, there's definitely so much going on. There's something for everyone because not everyone can skate for a long period of time. So we do have a teepee that we utilize as a warm-up structure out at the Loop. That's a great place for folks just to come and visit and watch the activities happening out at the skating loop. We have a Ninja Warrior course where we've got a little zip line and a climbing wall that kids young and old are able to enjoy. We have snowshoeing available. We have cross-country ski trails. We have a croquis curl course. So truly there's something magical for you to do throughout the entire day if you come visit us at Echo Valley Provincial Park.
And my suggestion for folks would be to pack a hot dog kit or s'more kit because there are little fireplaces set up there as well.
We've got fires happening all around the Loop as well as at our visitor center, and we also have a sauna that is operated by one of our private lessees. That is a great place to warm up if you're looking for something different out there.
Well, Shelley, is there anything else you want people to know about Skate the Park?
It's something that everybody should experience. Speaking about mental and physical wellness, winter is a very long season for us. And at Echo Valley Provincial Park, we have something to really brighten it up and give you something to enjoy about winter.
And you've made efforts to make it accessible as well, have you not?
We sure have. We've got adaptive kick sleds that allow folks that have mobility challenges to still get out there on the ice. And we've got a ton of different accessibility options to make sure that everyone can come and spend the day and enjoy something with us. Well,
I really appreciate the time that you've taken today to tell us about it. So thank you so much.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing you and the viewers out.
Yeah, maybe on Boxing Day. I'll make a date.
Sounds wonderful. We'll see you there.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. That's Shelley McLean. She's the park manager at Echo Valley Provincial Park for Parks, Culture and Sport. And they are officially opening their 900-meter skating loop on Boxing Day. And it is called Skate the Park. See you there. Now, I want to go to another community here in Saskatchewan because they have really cool stuff happening as well. So, Connor Tessier is the Director of Community Services with the town of Larange. He's on the line now. Connor, welcome to Blue Sky.
Hi, Nicole. Thanks for having me.
So, you heard about that loop. How does that compare with what's going on in Larange?
It's similar. That loop is definitely longer. I wish we had a 900-meter loop that we could ice over here. Ours is about 400 meters.
That's still
But
no
for the
small
last
feat.
3-4 years, yeah, it's a few laps to that. I'm definitely tired and probably cold as it's right next to our lake. But similar offering. It's through the trees and along the lakeside.
So, you do have the lake. Can people skate there?
There's some kind of neighborhood rinks that people maintain on their own, but we, the town, do one larger, almost full arena-sized hockey rink on the lake. But that one we normally don't start until about mid-January once we know that the ice is safe and we can get our equipment on there.
Yeah. What do you need to know when it comes to safety? How thick does that ice have to be?
Well, we always refer to the Ministry of Highways and Infrastructure Winter Roads Handbook, and that guides us to, when it's safe to get on the ice. We're looking at about 18 to 24 inches of ice to get our Zamboni on there.
Okay, I know that you also have a lot of work with the ones that don't rely on the lake. So there's a tennis court one. Tell me a little bit about that one.
So the one that we have on a tennis court, it's in our local neighborhood park called Morley Wilson Park, and it's more of a typical outdoor rink that you'd find across the province. It's in a tennis court, and because it's not out on the lake ice, we can start that one a little bit earlier. We're just kind of finishing it up today for our skaters, and we're expecting to see people skating on it either tonight or early tomorrow, but certainly over the holidays.
How did you get a bunch of snow in Larange?
We've had some, but listening to that weather report, it really doesn't compare. I feel like these big snow dumps have kind of avoided us up here in Larange, which we're definitely lucky. But we are getting the cold weather. It's about minus 26 and feels like 34 today.
How does that affect your being able to put in the ice?
Well, it's, there's such thing as too cold to make ice, believe it or not. And so when we're out there with our, water tanker and pumps and hoses, when it's 20 or 25 below, things start to freeze up on us. And we have to kind of act fast and then bring things back into our shop to warm up and thaw out. And, we do have a snow removal policy that when it's 33 below or colder, we don't work on equipment outside. And there's always a few periods each season where we have to pause our outdoor ice maintenance because it's just too cold and hard on our machines.
No kidding. Connor, you sent a photo to us and it showed some of the lighting situation. Now, lighting really can make a difference to a place and it gets dark really early. Extends the night. Tell me a little bit of what you've done to make the ice rinks a little bit more magical.
Yeah, so the outdoor rink on the lake I was talking about earlier, we once we have the ice surface prepared, we actually use chainsaws and jigs to cut grooves into the ice and lay waterproof LED lights and then flush and ice them over. And so throughout the evenings, you can go and skate and the ice is illuminated from underneath you. And, with the lake beneath that ice, it really has a magical glow to it. And so we've experimented with different color lights each year. And I think it's something our community looks forward to each year to see, what the rink's going to look like this year.
No, it's very cool. My husband was up there for work last winter and he went out there and then he took pictures and he was like, look at how cool Larange's rink is.
Yeah, it's really cool, but, I like to say that the lake is alive and, the ice is no different. And so it's nice, but it's certainly more maintenance than a typical outdoor rink because you're dealing with, the ice cracking and heaving and shifting. And so sometimes that brings new challenges to us.
Connor, has skating always been a part of your life?
I always joke that I was on the wet side and I kind of stayed away from the frozen side. I was a swimmer, and so I wasn't raised skating very much.
And you grew up quite different than a Saskatchewan winter, right?
Yeah. For a long period of time, I grew up overseas in the United Arab Emirates. And it's desert there, and so lots of beach time and lots of time in the sand. But it's interesting over there, they have an indoor ski hill, which is essentially a giant fridge in one of their malls.
Seems insane.
And people can ski all year round. So it's a thing that people will go to the beach and ski on the same day.
Yeah, so I guess we should just appreciate how lucky we are that we don't have to put in that kind of infrastructure.
I agree, yeah.
So, and my last question for you, though, I mean, it's a lot of work, and you have to be out there with the Zambonis, and you're out there clearing snow, and you're dealing with the heaving ice, and it's a lot of work. What do you think makes it worth it?
Well, like it's been said before, the winter is long, it's dark, and especially in La Ronge, it's cold. And so we try to make as many opportunities as we can to get people outside. And, we're just one piece of the winter activities that are available in La Ronge. And so, yes, you can go and skate at an indoor rink, but these outdoor rinks are something special and different. And each year they can even be a little bit different. So it's something that people look forward to. And, if skating's not your thing, there are 30 kilometers of groomed trails in La Ronge, and I think 50 kilometers of ski trails in La Ronge. And so,
Wow.
There's fishing, there's lots of things to do in La Ronge all year round, but the winter is definitely special.
Awesome. Well, Connor, thanks so much for taking the time to tell us about it today.
Thanks so much for having me.
That was Connor Tessier. He's the Director of Community Services with the town of La Ronge. It's 12:32. You're listening to Blue Sky on CBC Radio, and I'm Nicole Huck. We're having a great conversation today about outdoor rinks and the snow. We're calling them ice angels, the people who put in the sweat equity to make these things happen so that people can be active all year round. And we have somebody on the line from Moose Jaw. Kyle Lichtenwald is part of what he calls the rink crew, the rink rat crew in Moose Jaw. He's been part of mentoring young people in his neighborhood in the art of ice maintenance, and he's a teacher, but we caught him on his lunch break. Kyle, welcome to Blue Sky.
Oh, hi, Nicole. I'm happy to join you and talk about this.
So how did you get involved in ice maintenance?
Well, you know what? Well, I've grown up on outdoor rinks. I remember my dad working in the shack, volunteering in my community, and when I was a kid, and then when I had kids, I made backyard rink for a lot of years, and then I moved close to one of the neighborhood rinks. And I just got invited as the city handed over maintenance to the community association. I was invited to help out. So I joined up as a way to get to know my neighbors a little bit better.
How has that helped you get to know your neighbors?
Well, it's amazing how close you can the stories you can share underneath the lights and the frost and the steam as you're flooding a rink, like on a minus 40 night. And you hear about, I heard about how my friend would learn to make ice with his grandpa. And, we just get to know personal stories from each other. So,
why do you do it?
The smiles. I love seeing the kids out there having fun. Unorganized, unstructured play is like some of the best things for child development. So I love to see the kids get out and have a good time.
How well used is your local outdoor rink?
Well, depending on conditions, So we get quite a few kids out there on a lot of the nice warm days. With the break coming up, I expect the kids will be out there and ready to go if temperatures aren't too bad.
Now, you're in Moose Jaw. You guys got walloped yesterday. We've had this mild winter, and then it was very cold. How does that change the schedule and when you're trying to actually, find times that you can put in the ice?
Well, you know what? With a volunteer crew, we all have very committed schedules. So we're a little bit behind on our development this year, but with the storm yesterday, I think that might help us out. I haven't been over there to check it out, but judging by the roads, if people, we had a few people skating around Moose Jaw yesterday, so I think
what?
Yeah, there were people out in the roads skating down for donuts. And,
oh my God!
Yeah, it was pretty icy out here, so I think that might have helped our cause. But, we need to put a push on this weekend to get it ready for the kids for the break. So,
well, I understand you've recently passed the torch a little bit. What was involved in that?
That's right. I've had my kids out to help with the rink a little bit, shoveling, that kind of thing. But this year, a neighbor boy wanted to get out with his friends, and he knew we were behind schedule, so he offered to help out. So I had a minor surgery, and I can't do a whole lot of lifting with the hoses and stuff. So he said, "You know what? I'll come out and help out." And so he's in grade 11, and I showed him the basics of getting the rink started up, and he started flooding. And I think by building a little bit more capacity, getting more volunteers involved, and getting the kids involved, that's a skill he's going to have, and I'm glad he's contributing to the neighborhood.
Do you want to give him a shout out?
Yeah, it's Luke Turner.
Okay, Luke.
Turner is doing a good job.
So everybody sees Luke, buy him a donut, even if you have to skate there. My last question, because I have someone else on the line. We have Randy Frickus, who is a documentary filmmaker who's been traveling around this country, documenting outdoor rinks. But Randy, you've been listening a little bit to this. What have you been thinking about?
Well, he's exactly right. It's like, it's about the experience, but it's also about the connections that you make on the rink. And, similar to like when I made my inaugural series a couple winters ago, one of the lines I have in the piece is like, you could show up to the rink with and you could be basically on a hockey team with a complete stranger, and, you just throw your sticks in the middle, and all of a sudden you're on a team with people you haven't met before, and you're passing the puck back and forth and scoring goals, and before you know it, you've got a brand new friend, or just you've made a new connection. And that's what, like, outdoor rinks are so vital to community building, but all in, and like how it's been said, like with mental health and staying active in the winter. Just in Moose Jaw, definitely got to put that on my list of my travels in the future here to come visit. But he's exactly right. It's such a vital part to the community.
Kyle, do you miss your backyard rink?
I do. Some memories popped up on my feed the other day, and my little one's skating on the backyard rink, and it's just so convenient. But I like the community aspect and getting out with other people. I was only doing it by myself, but doing it with some new buddies, and that's a good time.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much I'll let you go so you can get back to those young ones.
Yeah, thanks. Okay.
Kyle Lichtenwald lives in Moose Jaw, and he's been involved in training the next generation of the Rink Rat crew. You know what? There's so many people we want to talk to today that I'm going to go right to the phone lines one more time. We're going to head to the George Gordon Arena. Jason Bitternose has been tending the ice there for the past 15 years. He's on the line. Jason, welcome to Blue Sky.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Oh, not bad, not bad.
What's it like out at George Gordon today?
Lots of snow.
Okay.
Lots of work. Everybody's outside shoveling snow and pushing snow.
Are you able to get around very easily?
I have a skidoo, so I'm okay.
You're good. So how did you become the rink man at George Gordon? I just want to say on your Facebook that it actually says rink man beside for your title. So I love that. How did you become that person?
Well, 15 years ago, I just went and volunteered and helped my uncle. My uncle Ed Bitternose run it first. But way back when I was a kid, my father looked after the arena, and then my uncle Ed, and then me. I just been helping out, and for the past 15 years, I've been there every winter.
So this is really a family affair for you?
Yeah, family, and yeah, pretty much. Because I'm doing it. My son knows how to do it. He's 22, 23 years old, and
okay,
he's there helping along with my nephews.
So you're really, who taught you? So, how there's an art to ice making, not just, you can't just roll up and start doing it. How much work goes into that for people who don't necessarily understand, how much of it is an art?
Well, we use a fire hose, and we have to put probably at least, I say, 60 floods on. Our rink has a gravel base, so it takes a lot of water to get the gravel frozen. And then it's not the greatest rink, right? Our rink is old, and we need an upgrade. But I'm there. We're there. We go probably 4 or 5 times a day,
Wow.
sometimes 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
You're dedicated.
Oh, well, I do it for the kids, right? There's living on a First Nation on a reserve, there's not much for the children to do. So at least they have a rink if we get it done.
Help people understand exactly how important the rink is to the community aspect on George Gordon.
Oh, it's very important. We have 3 minor hockey teams, U9, U11, and U13 teams, and our old rink is packed when we have home games. And being natural ice, we don't get it in till we probably won't be done for maybe another week, just because we have a water line break on the reserve, so I can't use things.
Yeah, so tell me, what challenges are you facing this winter to try to get that in?
This winter, we're using a fire truck. We're hauling water 22 miles to flood the ice.
That's so much extra work.
It is. It's a lot of work. It's crazy, but hey, it's for the kids in the community.
Do you drive the Zamboni?
I do, yeah.
Was it intimidating?
Yeah, at first, especially when there was people sitting there watching you.
Have you ever crashed?
I did hit the boards once, I won't lie. I did hit the boards once.
Was there people around?
No, it was after we were closing in the evening at night, 11 at night. And
okay, so it wasn't in between periods at a packed hockey game?
No, it was at night when no one was around. I wasn't paying attention and didn't turn sharp enough, and I hit the boards.
Well, I'm glad you're okay. Glad those boards are okay, but you said they need an upgrade anyways, right?
Yeah, we need an upgrade. We need a new arena out here.
Now, so when are you hoping that the ice will get in now? I know that this fire truck situation has made it a little bit off of schedule, but when are you hoping that kids can get on the ice?
Well, hopefully, the only days I'll take off is probably Christmas Day.
Okay.
So hopefully before January 1st, the kids are skating and the rink's ready to go.
Now, the last question, Jason, I have for you is, I mean, we know that natural ice rinks are at the mercy of the weather. So we've had a pretty wild fall and winter. It can go really, really cold and then it's melted the next week. What challenges do these big fluctuations pose for you when you are trying to maintain the ice?
Well, for us, we have a brick building. So in order for us to be -1 in the arena, it has to be around -10 outside. So we have 2 industrial fans going all the time just to try to keep the cold air circulating. And if it gets too warm outside, then we just have to stop and wait till it gets cold.
Yeah, so patience.
Patience and just hope Mother Nature works with us.
You bet. Well, Jason, I really appreciate you taking the time to tell us about it. And I think that it seems like you've got a good goal, you've got a plan in place, and those kids will be out there by New Year. So thank you for the work you do.
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay, have a good one.
Yeah, bye-bye.
That's Jason Bitternose, and he's the rink man at the George Gordon Arena. And that he was just talking about some of the natural fluctuations and how that is challenging for people who do have natural ice rinks. And it's something that our next guest knows a lot about. So Robert McLemin is a professor of geography and environmental studies at Ontario's Wilfrid Laurier University. He warns that climate change is having a serious effect on this traditional pastime. He's the director of a website called rinkwatch.org, and he joins us now. Robert, you've been listening along. Welcome to Blue Sky.
Thanks for having me on the show, Nicole.
So what can you tell me about what Rink Watch does?
Sure. Well, we launched it 14 winters ago. It's a citizen science project, and we have a website. And what we do is we invite people who have backyard skating rinks or who look after the rink in the local park, the ice angels, you were calling them, to come onto the website, to pin the location of their rink on our interactive map, and then throughout the winter, give us an update on how the skating conditions are using a simple drop-down menu. And then what we do is we consolidate all that data, and we use it to figure out what are the ideal conditions for having an outdoor skating rink. And so, for example, we tend to find, as Jason was just talking about, that average daily temperature is colder than -5 degrees Celsius. That's when we start hitting the sweet spot for building rinks. When average temperatures are warmer than that, then it struggles. And then what we can do is then go back through historical weather records for places across Canada and reconstruct the historical skating seasons for periods we don't have data for. And then we can also take that information and put it into climate models and forecast decades out into the future what skating conditions will look like in a changing climate.
I'm almost afraid to ask, but when you look maybe 20 years into the future, when my kids are getting older, will there be outdoor skating rinks? Just lay it on me.
Sure. Well, in Saskatchewan, yes. There's going to be a real east-west divide in Canada. I'm afraid not just for football, CFL football, or NHL hockey, but also in terms of ice-making weather. Here in Eastern Canada in particular, we are going to see a rapid deterioration in good winter conditions for building rinks. Out where you are, because you start with a much colder climate than we have in the east, you're going to see a lot of warming, but you're still going to have a lot of days that are still colder than that critical -5 degrees Celsius threshold. Now, you will see a little bit of toilet seat weather where it's up and it's down, kind of like what you've already seen this winter so far.
I like that. Toilet seat weather.
Toilet seat weather. So that, the conditions are up and down, which can be, as you heard from some of the callers today, can be really challenging. If you get too much cold weather, it's hard on the equipment. It's hard to get a good freeze on top of the ice. If it's too mild, you lose your skating surface. So those can create a lot of challenges as well. Probably if you look 50 years into the future, the length of the winter, if measured in terms of skating conditions in Saskatchewan, will probably be 20 or 30% shorter than it is today. Some folks may like that, a shorter winter, they may not complain, but for those of us who like outdoor skating, that's not such a great thing.
How have you seen the creation of outdoor rinks change since you started Rink Watch?
Great
and that was
question.
back in 2012. Yeah.
Yeah. So what we've seen, especially here in the East again, where we're really seeing those fluctuating conditions, is that people are buying large sheets of plastic, essentially 20, 30 by 40 sheets of single tarp plastic. And what they do is they put their boards up, then they put that plastic liner down first, and then they flood onto the plastic. So that way, when the temperatures are going up and down as they do, you may get some melt, but you don't lose your water the way you would, for example, if you're building onto grass or gravel or a basketball court, where if it thaws, you lose all your rink and you have to start from scratch. So that's how people are adapting here in the East. We're also seeing the municipalities starting to get away from those traditional park-style classic rinks where you flood onto the baseball diamond, and actually investing in outdoor chilling machines to create artificial outdoor rinks. And we're seeing that pop up in cities right across the East, again, to try and maximize the length of the skating season and to get through those mild periods that we inevitably get mid-January, mid-February. So I don't know what you're seeing in Saskatchewan, but that's what we're seeing here.
The chilling machines, that sounds expensive.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And so what it means is, for example, Brantford, Ontario, home of Wayne Gretzky, the most famous outdoor rink in Canadian history. They still try to maintain, the park-style classic rinks, but we're seeing communities now saying, well, we can't keep that many rinks going. We'll reduce the number of rinks, the number of parks that have them, but we'll invest in these machines. So yeah, it reduces the availability and reduces the number of rinks, but at least gives people a couple places to skate year round or throughout the winter.
Have you been keeping an eye on Ottawa, on the canal?
Well, yeah, for two reasons. One is I grew up in Ottawa, so okay. I love that place. But also we obviously watch the Rideau Canal as well. And there's data going back to the 1970s for the canal. And what we've seen is that, back in the 70s, they would get months of good skating on the canal. But today, well, actually in the last 5 years, there's been 2 winters where there's been no skating on the canal because they just don't get cold enough temperatures to get a thick enough layer of ice to maintain it. This winter's looking good so far, but it's still early to tell.
And I think I remember reading about so maybe some big infrastructure project that's going to happen so that they can guarantee that people can continue skating. Big dollars, big dollars.
Well, yeah, and it brings in a lot of tourist revenue too. So when there's no skating, the local economy takes a hit.
Yeah, it's like the quintessential thing that you do in Ottawa in the winter. I'm just so curious, though. I mean, people always talk like things have changed so much, and then I'm just wondering about if the numbers actually back it up. So, what do we know about how our winters have actually changed over the years?
Yeah, so we've done a historical reconstruction of skating from what we did was we chose the original six NHL cities and reconstructed their historical skating seasons going back to the 1940s. And what we see, for example, here in Southern Ontario around Toronto, the skating season, 50 years ago would have started at this time of year and it would go right into March. But we've seen it contract considerably. Not so much in Chicago, where again, they've got more of a prairie style climate. But we can definitely see this erosion in terms of the number of good quality skating days. And when we project out to the future, where I am right now in Waterloo Region, Ontario, there may be so few good cold days in future winters that folks may not even bother because it'd just be a lot of work for too few skating days.
What's your message, I guess? I mean, not everybody, a lot of people are concerned about climate change. Few people are tying it to hockey rinks. What's your takeaway here?
Well, when you think about what we're doing to the climate, I mean, there's much more serious consequences that will happen, for example, to farmers, to ranchers, to ordinary homeowners in the city. There'll be a lot of impacts in terms of climate change that will have more direct economic impacts on our well-being. And outdoor skating rinks, it would be a real shame to lose them because, as Randy was talking about earlier, it's part of the Canadian identity. It's part of our culture. We used to put it on the back of the $5 bill. The outdoor skating rink. So if we were to lose that because of a warming climate, it wouldn't be the worst thing that will happen to us, but culturally it will change who we are and it would be a darn shame. And so hopefully we don't get to that point. Hopefully we sort of change course and we can guarantee that our children's children will be out there on a -30 prairie night flooding the backyard just like we're doing right now.
Well, thank you so much. We have Randy Frickus on the line, and I know that you know each other, and I wanted to give Randy a chance to say hi before you go.
Hi again. Hey, Robert. I saw you a couple months ago doing a great interview and looking forward to traveling out there soon again.
Randy, why did you want to involve Robert in your storytelling?
Well, basically what you heard there, especially like the way that he connects climate change or the changing winters with the NHL cities. It's almost like and it's something that I've learned over the last couple of years too. It's like when you bring hockey into the conversation and how our winters changing affects potential outdoor hockey in the future. It's a way to get the conversation started.
Do you think it makes people who who normally glaze over when it comes to climate change? Does it make them pay attention?
I hope so. Everyone's kind of got their own perspective on it, but I've seen this firsthand. Like when I was trying to plan my first winter of filming, I was trying to go to Ottawa to do a shoot just south of the city, and it was mid-January, and the ice maker there, her name was Mo. She her rink basically turned into a puddle, and and at the time I was traveling on my own budget. I couldn't afford to go and film at a rink that wasn't operational, but it stuck with me, and so that's what's part of my new film Ice Makers is like there's not only factors like the terrain you're building the rink in, if the ground is unlevel or you got a hole in your tarp or whatever, but there's also like here in Winnipeg it was +3 2 days ago, and today it's like -30 something with the wind chill, and we just had a blizzard. So the maybe some people are going to be like, I give up, I'm not going to make rinks anymore, but I want to talk to the ones that are doing it regardless, and they'll do whatever it takes basically. And you know what, half of them don't even skate on them, they just do it for the pure love of seeing other people enjoy it. And so that's what my film Ice Makers is all about. And I feel like as we kind of go through the situation over the next few winters, more and more people will be open to these conversations and learning more. And it starts somewhere, and obviously Rink Watch started in 2012, and they've made some traction over the last few years, and I'm looking to help them out there as well.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate Robert, you joining us this conversation today, and you can see Robert also in Randy's documentary. So, Robert, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me on the show, Nicole.
You bet. I want to squeeze in a couple emails here. Carol writes, "Greetings, lots of good memories with your show today. We grew up in Montreal area, and my dad worked for the town of Roxborough. He would do the late night rink flooding so everyone could enjoy the rinks during the day. He also always made us a backyard rink, enjoyed by many of our friends. A neighbor who owned the local and well-loved corner store, Jed's, in Two Mountains, made a huge neighborhood rink that we all loved, especially the hot chocolate at the counter after a good skate." And Ron writes, "Hi, I'm 45 years old. I'm a 45-year CBC radio listener. Sorry, not to be confused, Ron. Away in Edmonton area for a few weeks, but pulling into your show while driving on the 540. Good job. Nice vibe." Oh, well, thanks, Ron. If it was a compliment, I might not have read it on the radio. Ron, thanks so much. I just appreciate everybody who's been listening to the show today. You know, is Randy, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. Yeah.
So Randy Frickus, the documentary maker behind Outdoor Hockey Club, I mean, we have kind of like a 1 minute left here, and I just want to know how things have changed for you when it comes to rink making. Because I know people, and this is just a little bit of a teaser, but people are going to get to see how you've made a rink on a beaver dam in your...
That's correct, yeah. I figured I should, start, living my experience a little more truly. So not only just capturing rink making stories, I'm also trying to make my own with my cousin Jarrett. And we found this majestic pond out in the middle of nowhere, rural Manitoba, next to a beaver dam. So we're documenting our experiences. We've already butchered one flood. So as they say, you learn more from your mistakes. So
that's a damn shame.
There's no shortage of damn jokes on there, that's for sure. But yeah, no, I figured I should put myself to the test with the help of my cousin, and we'll see what we can do. And we're looking forward to not only sharing outdoor hockey stories this winter, but making a rink and playing some hockey.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate that. And if you have one tip for people who might be thinking about should I not make a rink in my yard or volunteer this winter, what's your last message?
I would say go for it, but be patient, be prepared to problem solve, to experiment, to think about it overnight, to think about it in the morning. But
to never
just be
stop
patient.
Thinking about it.
Yeah, but the outcome is totally worth it. It's sweat equity, but the results are more than worth it.
Randy, thank you so much for joining the show today. It's been a blast. Randy Frickus is the filmmaker behind the Outdoor Hockey Club documentary series, and you can look for his new documentary called Ice Makers coming out in April. Now, tomorrow, over the holidays, many people will be gathering with friends and family, and for some, bringing out that classic board game is all part of the tradition. But there's so much more than Monopoly out there now, folks.